So the first thing you want to do is grab a plate so you can put all your scraps or whatever you cut up onto the plate. Next, you are going to want to grab your cutting board and a knife. Now we are going to take our large brown onion and we're going to cut off both ends of the onion and put it onto our scrap plate. Now we're going to cut the side of the onion so we can take the first layer of the onion off. Now that the first layer of onion is off, we're going to turn it onto the side and start cutting it into wagon wheels. It doesn't matter the thickness because it is going to be in our marinade. As you see right here, I'm at the end of the onion, so I end up just laying it flat and cutting it into good sized chunks. Like I said, it doesn't matter what size or how thick the onion is, it's going to be getting put on top of our marinade. Now you are going to want to get a plate to put that aside. Then next, what we're going to do is we're going to be grabbing our cilantro and we're going to be dicing it up. Make sure you wash it before you cut it just to get any loose debris or dirt off it. Now that we are done dicing our cilantro, we are going to want to put that aside too onto the plate. This is just me, but when I like to work or when I'm always prepping food or cutting vegetables, one of my favorite things to do is always keep my workspace clean. Even if it's just a quick wipe down, it's just something that I like to do. So one of my favorite marinades to use is by Chef Bistro Marinade for Meat. It's one of the marinades that I always use when I'm always cooking carne asada or about to cook it. Then me and my family, we like garlic, so I end up putting just a little bit of garlic, not too much because it is very strong and you don't want to overpower your meat. Next, I grab my seasoning bowl or my marinade bowl. The reason I choose this one because it has a top, and when I push down on it, it kind of pushes all the air out. Next, I got my flank steak or Carne Asada from Costco. Personally, this is my favorite brand to use. Why? Because it's always fresh and it always has a thick cut to it. Plus, the marbling with the meat is one of my favorite things to look at. Make sure to always shake your marinade right before you use it. Then what I also like to use is I like to use the Chef Maestro steak and meat seasoning, and it's the Carne seasoning. Alright, now as you can see, I'm starting to put onions, cilantro, then I'm going to put just a little bit of garlic. I did pass some off to the side, so as I was layering, I would just kind of rub it on there just a little. After that, I add the marinade. Remember, you don't want to use all of it all at once. You want to layer between your onion, cilantro, the marinade, the meat, and then the seasoning. So now that I kind of got like the base layer down, this is just my preference, but I do like to cut the meat because they are a good sized piece of meat and I don't want them to take up the whole bottom, so I cut them in like good sized portions, or pretty much in half, so I can fit a little more meat in there. Plus later on when I barbecue it, I'm not waiting for a big piece of meat to be done. I'm actually waiting for a smaller piece to be done. So now that I got my first layer with onion, cilantro, meat, the seasoning, and the marinade, I'm pretty much just going to keep on repeating this process until I run out of all my ingredients. Layering between your meat, onion, cilantro, marinade, don't forget to add a little bit of the seasoning in between all that too, so it can tenderize the front and back, and also add a good flavor to the front and back of the meat too. One thing that I also like to focus on too is that I always have one hand always touching the raw meat and the vegetables, as my other hand is always touching the seasonings that are in the bottle, because I don't want to cross-contaminate. As you can see right here, I kind of ran out of the marinade, so what I ended up doing is I ended up moving some of the meat around to fit the last piece in there, also to make sure that every piece was coated in that marinade and that I put some seasoning on it too. So, and don't forget to get every last bit of the onion cilantro. Now here's the finished product of me marinating. Now I'll put the lid on, push down, and it's actually going to push some of the air out. Now the last thing that we are going to do is we are going to put it in our refrigerator, and it's going to marinate between 12 to 24 hours. Alright, it has already been about 24 hours, and now I am taking out the meat. Now I put the meat on the barbecue, and as you can see, I put the onions and the little bit of cilantro that was in the marinade on the meat so it can get toasted, and I also put some corn on the barbecue. This is what the meat looked like after I was done barbecuing it.